10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition on a busy week of Well That Effing Figures. I'm Joe, along with Colin and Shane, the owner of Top Notch Food Truck in Baltimore County, Maryland. My favorite food truck. And if you ever had the chance to taste it, it would be your favorite food truck too. But Shane, welcome to the show. How are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me and
Yeah.
hyping us up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course.
How's everything going with you in the biz? Everything
It's
good?
good. It's good. Yeah.
Good.
It's crazy as usual. But yeah, things are really going. Our schedule's filling up for this year and
Hmm.
feeling good about where it's going in 2023. So yeah,
Good. I'll be checking out that schedule and trying to hit as many of the brewery places that you're going to show up at
yeah, they're our
come in the
favorite.
spring and summer. That's a good time.
Yeah,
Food truck groupie over here.
Man, I'm
oh
telling
yeah.
you, if
Hey, I'm
you
not mad
tasted
about
one
it.
time, you would be too. Believe me. I don't
Yeah,
care how many food trucks are lined up. I'm not. There's no choice for me. I know where I'm going.
man.
I
I'm gonna
know.
cry, man.
Don't
Makes me feel good
cry.
though.
Don't cry live on the air. We'll
Oh crap. Yeah, we really try. So anytime we get, compliments on our food or whatever, we really appreciate it because we're trying hard. So
Yeah, I bet you get a lot of compliments, but so definitely good job to you guys for what you're doing for
yeah,
sure.
thanks, man.
So speaking of which, how did you come about doing a food truck, and especially like did you have a list of things you might want to do, like hamburgers, hot dogs, and then you came up with burritos, or was it burritos from the start that you knew you wanted to do? Or
Yeah, so man, it's a super long story. But as far as the concept, our concept started with nachos.
Mhm.
And we had the idea of just focusing on nachos, but I had this feeling like, people are gonna come and they're gonna be like, nachos is all they have on the menu. I want to go to another truck or something. Like I want more variety. So I was like, let me see what else I can find. And then we stumbled upon the idea of burritos and cheese crusted burritos specifically. And then yeah, that's kind of where that went from. And we thought about tacos too. And sometimes we do make tacos, and I have nothing against tacos, but so many people do tacos that we just wanted something a little different. So
right,
that's kind of how we landed on our concept.
yeah. So when you started this, did you have normal jobs and you guys just took
Yeah.
a chance and left those jobs to do this because it was your passion or dream? Or
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of a super long story, but to shorten it as much as possible, basically Missy and I met. Missy's my wife, for those who don't know.
Mhm.
We met in college, and we've been together ever since. But during college, we were in Philadelphia, and we were working in the restaurant industry down there. And it just kind of opened our eyes to like what food could be, because we're both from more rural places in Pennsylvania. And we just didn't have as much variety and stuff. So once we got down there, and we just like it opened our eyes, like I said, to what food can be. And we were working in a restaurant that was really awesome, and they did really good nachos and stuff. And that's like, it kind of ingrained our love for nachos, working there in us. So yeah, it kind of started there. And we honestly didn't have this idea until probably like 5 years after college,
Mhm.
when we were living in Indiana. And that's when the idea kind of popped up.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and it's kind of an interesting story if you want me to go into that
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, like I said, we worked at this restaurant, had the great nachos, had everything they did was just really good. Um, and after we left there, my wife got a job in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we just moved our whole lives there, took a chance, and I had a desk job and stuff at the time, and we were trying to find good food out there as well, and we did find some good stuff, but we could never find anything like those nachos. Like, we just craved them. We craved really good nachos, and we just couldn't find them. And one day we were at this brewery, and basically we ordered their nachos. We had their food before. It was really good. So I was like, let's try the nachos. And basically what came out was like old stale chips, and they were covered in slices of like American cheese, like half melted American cheese slices on tortilla chips. And we were just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And we had a couple beers in us, and we were like, we should just do this. Like, we should just start a restaurant or something that focuses on nachos and does them right. And Missy is in advertising, and she was like, we should just call it Top Nach, like play on the word top notch. And I was like, that's genius. And that's where the idea was born. But yeah, we didn't actually start it until years later, just because the financial side of it, like, it's expensive, so we had that idea, and then we started like really making our own nachos, and we're like, let's see if we can do this. And we started making our own nachos, kept getting better. We both just got better at cooking and whatnot, and kind of snowballed from there. We ended up moving to Florida again. Missy got recruited for another job. She's super good at her job, although she's leaving it to join me full time. So we moved to Florida. Just kept kind of doing our thing. And I was a teacher in Florida, which is what I studied to be in college. So I finally decided, I got this degree, let me try it out. So in Florida, I was teaching for a couple of years. Started as a reading teacher. That was horrible. I mean, it was in middle school, and trying to get a middle school kid to read, man. Yeah.
Tough, huh?
It was rough, to say the least. So basically, eventually the cooking teacher left, and I was like, oh, let me see if I can slide in there. Like, I was super into cooking, obviously, and stuff. And I was like, let me just see if they'll take me. I figured they would take someone else. And they were like, yes, please. No one will take this job. And I was like, oh God, what did I get myself into? So I did that for a couple of years. And then COVID hit, and, just changed everything. And, so much bad stuff happened because of COVID, but it kind of, worked out in our favor because the value of houses went up so much.
Right.
And then at one point, Missy's pretty unhappy at her job. I liked teaching cooking, but just, man, the teaching world is crazy. You don't get paid a lot. And we saw this opportunity. We were like, we can sell our house and start this food truck. And we were like, can this really happen? And so we started looking at the numbers, finding out how much trucks cost. And that's what happened. We sold our house and put everything we have into buying our truck and getting it started. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Great
Long
story,
but
I think it's ballsy, because you don't know if this is going to take off or not. So
true. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
It was scary.
during COVID,
Wow. Yeah. That's a great story. I'm glad it worked out. And
it was super scary for us. But one thing that I could, always tell myself was, as a teacher, especially in Florida, like, I was not making good money. So I was like, if it doesn't work out, I can sell the truck and find another job. It wasn't like I was leaving, like you hear those jobs about CEOs making millions of dollars and they leave a company and start a food truck. And it wasn't like that. It was,
right.
So, but it still was a huge risk and very scary, but I'm happy we did it.
Yeah. Like, speaking of like breweries too, that you say, because that's where I end up finding you. Well, actually, my wife found you. We were sitting there drinking one day at a brewery here in Maryland called Falling Branch. And she walks in, I'll be right back, she says, and she comes back in with 2 containers. I had no idea what she went and got. I was like, just get me whatever. I'm easy. She comes back with the burritos and the nachos, which I must say, are covered. They're not like when you go to a normal, like anywhere, you get all the little dry nachos on the bottom. You don't get that with your guys' stuff.
Right.
I open the containers and I take a bite of that burrito and I'm like, holy shit. Like I have to go out and see where you got this from.
Yeah.
I had no idea. She was so proud of herself too when she came in today. She made Fat Boy happy. So yeah, and ever since then, as you can see, like, and you were gracious enough to hook me up with a shirt, you know.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that. That was,
of course.
I was gonna wear it tonight, but it's freezing in this room, so had to go with something else. But yeah, and the rest is history. Like I try to come to you guys whenever I can, whenever you're close enough to me, and I'll continue that.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
we are. We're just happy that people are enjoying our food and supporting us and stuff. So
definitely.
Yeah, man.
So spring, summer is a good time for you. Maybe fall also. In the winter time, I noticed that you opened a little pop-up type store in Baltimore. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came to be?
Yeah, so that was just a part-time thing. But so basically we actually found this pop-up. So it's a place called Our House, and it's a big food hall. They have a bar. They have a bunch of different food stalls there. And they have one stall specifically that is a pop-up. Mm-hmm. So, let's say you have a restaurant you want to try out or a concept, or like us, we have a food truck. We want to get out of the cold for a little bit. You can basically rent this out. So, yeah, when we were in Florida, we had the idea actually that we would do that before we started the truck and see if people liked it. Mm-hmm. And it just never happened. Once I started actually like trying to start a business, I realized how actually hard it is, how complicated it is. And that totally fell by the wayside. But it popped up later on, and I was like, oh, we should go there in the winter when we don't want to be freezing our butts off in the trailer. So yeah, we did that, and that was a pretty cool experience. Kind of gave us a look at what it's like to own a restaurant versus a food truck that's open for 4 or 5 hour shifts. So cool. It's different. Yeah.
Nice. So do you have like a certain spot you sit every day, or do you move around, or how does that work?
Yeah. We don't currently have a certain spot. I am trying to eventually like find a spot, because I get that question a lot. Like people are like, oh, where are you? And I'm like, well, we're all over the place. But we do really like to go to breweries. There's a distillery around here we go to. Really anywhere where there's alcohol. People are generally just laid back, and our food also goes well with a beer. It's just like, it's the perfect match. So that's what we really like to focus on, the breweries and stuff. But at this point, we're only about a year and a half in. So we're kind of open to whatever. We do some private catering at people's houses and whatnot. We got a car show this summer. We're going to do, we're all over the place. We're going back to that Our House pop-up in the summer, actually, as well, just because we had such a good experience there. We're going to try it out in the summer. So, yeah, we're kind of like all over the place, but I'm trying to find a spot. So when people say, hey, where are you? I can be like, every Tuesday we're at this spot, But, yeah, it's hard. There's just so much to do in the business. It's hard to carve time out for little things like that, but we'll find a spot eventually.
Well, I got a really long driveway, so you're welcome to stay here. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we gotta have a party.
Yeah.
You better buy a lot, eh?
Yeah. Colin, you gotta come to this area though.
Yeah.
Someday, I'm planning on making my way down there sometime.
All right, sweet.
We have never met in person, so yeah, that would be cool. So,
you and Colin never met in person?
No.
Oh man, that's crazy. I don't know why. I just figured you guys had like.
No, we met through the whole toy collecting community.
Nice. That's awesome.
So T3 says, "Come to California." Who knows?
There's a lot of like comic conventions and stuff. So I'll make my way over there at some point.
Yeah, we'll meet up eventually for sure.
Yeah. Wait, did you just say someone said come to California?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
T3 collects in the chat. He said, "Come to
Okay.
California."
Nice,
Hey,
nice.
there you go.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I just saw that. There's this chat here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, that's interesting. T3. Basically, so our idea for the cheese crusted burritos came from a place. I think it's in LA called Loki Burrito. Um, so the cheese crust on our burritos, we do basically everything else different, but when I was teaching some of my students, I was looking for an idea, like what can I have them cook today, or what can I teach them to cook? And I was like looking up breakfast stuff, and I thought, oh, burritos are pretty easy. And then I stumbled upon a video of this place called Low Key Burritos, um, doing their cheese crusted thing, and I was like, I got to try this out. I kind of was skeptical. I was like, I don't know, it seems kind of quirky, but it's a game changer. So I don't know where you're at in California, T3, but if you're anywhere near Low Key Burrito, you got to find them. And I talked to the guy that owns Low Key Burrito, and he was like giving me tips and stuff. Like he was so nice and supportive.
So cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you're not going to expand to California, but do you have any plans on expanding in this area? Maybe a brick and mortar place?
Yeah.
Another pop up? Maybe a permanent type thing, or
Yeah.
another food truck. I have more than one.
Yeah. I mean, we're at this point, we're like open. We're keeping it open.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple different ideas. Like we were like, we like to drink. That sounds horrible, but we like to have drinks and stuff. Make good drinks. So we were thinking it would be cool to have like a little nacho bar spot where we make some good drinks, have a similar menu to what we have on the truck, but more expanded because we would have more space. But then we've also thrown out ideas like, well, we could, if we want to try to make it like bigger, we could do something like almost like a assembly line, like some of the big burrito chains. They have you go through the assembly line and you put on whatever you want. So we were thinking that'd be cool with nachos, like kind of do like Chipotle style nacho bar where you just go along and you kind of choose your toppings. But honestly, or maybe expand into multiple trucks. But yeah, right now we are just we're just trying to survive day to day and figure everything out. We still feel so new and stuff that, we're just trying to figure it out, and we're going to see where it goes. And if we find a really good opportunity, we might jump on it. But right now we love the truck life. We don't have anyone telling us what to do
right
when we have to, do things. So it's nice. It's really different. But we'll see where it goes. We definitely want to grow, though. We have bigger goals, and we're just trying to be patient with it and not, make the wrong moves or move too fast.
That makes sense. You definitely don't want to rush it, because then mistakes happen, and you want to do it the right way for sure. So that's a good way to look at it. I know some places around here, like some breweries, they link up with like a local restaurant. They have like a little micro restaurant in their brewery. Where they don't benefit off of each other, but in the background they really do, because they have the food and the drinks there, and it all works out. I know Braylock Brewing in Kennett Square, they have a little kitchen that doesn't belong to them, and they do something like that. So even something like that in the future, who knows? Might be a more better way to save money and still have something like that in the future, if that's which way you want to go. But that's pretty cool, though. Like I said, any way you do it, I'm going to follow the truck no matter what. So I'll be there.
We definitely have big goals and dreams. We're just not exactly sure what they are, but like I said, we're just kind of taking it day by day and seeing what happens, and we're just happy we're still open after a year and a half. And because it is hard, it's a really hard thing, especially because neither of us, we both worked in restaurants but never in kitchens and stuff. So that has all been just a huge learning curve.
Yeah, and when you go to different places, I know me and you spoke about one time when you were down at the seafood fest in Havre de Grace, I believe,
Hmm.
and they put you in a really horrible spot.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was one
And
of our worst days.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they you really like people were on the main strip and you were
Mhm.
down tucked away, and a lot of people missed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also depends on things like that, how you're going to do. So
Yeah. And that's something that's been super hard about the food truck life.
mhm.
Um, it's a lot of it, people will tell you they have, oh, we have a huge crazy event coming up, and then you go there and you're like, wait, where's everyone at? So, trying to determine
Yeah,
what's good, what's not good. Everyone likes to think that their event's going to be really good. But yeah, that's been a really hard part about food truck life for sure.
yeah. So when you're not doing all this deliciousness that you do,
Yeah,
what do you, besides, I know you like to go out to the breweries and stuff like that, you said, what
yeah,
else do you like to do, you and Missy, or any hobbies or anything that you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have? Because our hobbies, like
yeah,
we're big
yeah,
kids who collect toys and collectibles. So anything
yeah,
you
man.
do?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have a lot of free time anymore.
Mhm.
Honestly, this past year and a half has just been crazy. But
Yeah.
before I started the food truck, I was super into golf. That's like my one passion that I just it's my happy place, like on the golf course. I like to just get out there, and it helps me forget all my problems and all that stuff. Um, I was watching your stuff earlier, and I heard Colin mention something about like snowboarding.
Mhm.
I used to be really into snowboarding and skateboarding as well. Would love to do it still, but finding the time is hard. And my guilty pleasure, and this is super nerdy, and Missy's gonna probably hate me for admitting this, but I'm obsessed with Halo right now. I can't stop playing. I had COVID earlier in the year. I finally got it after a couple years, and
Mhm.
she let me get a Xbox, and now I'm addicted to Halo, and I
Yeah.
just it's so bad. But yeah, so I'd say like right now when I can find free time, Halo, golf, or Missy and I get really into TV shows, and
Yeah.
those are my things right now.
What kind of TV shows do you like? Like
Uh,
anything you're super into, or?
yeah, we're kind of all over the place. Like we were big into Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
I read all those books. We watched the shows. We're super disappointed with how it ended. I don't know if you guys watched, but it was
Oh, huge Game of
yeah,
Thrones right here.
I
Yeah.
have not
yeah.
watched any, not
Oh my
not
gosh,
none
man.
of them.
He's missing out. I tell everybody they're all missing out. That's the greatest
Yeah.
thing to ever hit television,
Oh
and
my
they're
gosh.
missing out on it.
Yeah, despite how it ended, it was
Yeah.
just, I've watched it probably 3 times, pretty much the full way through.
Oh
So,
yeah, easy.
Wow.
um, I like gangster stuff. Like we just rewatched Boardwalk Empire.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorites. Um, I was chatting with you a little bit about The Walking Dead.
Right. I
We
was a
like
big
shows like
Walking Dead.
that, although it's Missy's a little bit harder sell on those. So, certain shows like that have fallen off. But I don't know. We kind of watch a little bit of everything, and we've been doing a lot of the shows that are popular. Um, just kind of watching everything. And the pandemic, man, the pandemic just we watched so much TV during that time. It's like
Yeah.
I forget about half the shows we watched, and I'll
Yep.
see them and I'll be like, oh my god, did we see this before? I don't know.
Yeah. There was not
What
much to do but drink and watch TV at that time. It
Yeah,
was ridiculous.
yeah.
you said you read the books too for Game of Thrones, right? You think we're ever gonna get the Winds of Winter book?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think they might as well give it up.
Yeah, and man, I feel like he's older. I don't know, like I feel like it's kind of a thing he's gonna keep working on and never gonna finish it before his time is up. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he for like what the last 10 years he's been saying he's almost done.
Yeah.
Well, then I just heard that he made a statement that he's like he's like only like 3/4 of the way through or something, and I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness, yeah.
everybody's just like, oh man.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he does, and yeah, we'll see. But
We're for sure not getting one after that. So
yeah. We watched the new Game of Thrones show. God, I can't remember the name, but the prequel to Game of Thrones too, and that was pretty good. But yeah, that show was like a huge part of our lives for years and years, like college and all of the moving we did. We watched it everywhere and all the time. So
they're supposed to be doing a Jon Snow spinoff.
Oh,
I'm hoping they're gonna I feel like they're doing that to like try to make up for season 8.
yeah.
And I'm hoping that they do kind of redeem themselves for season 8.
Yeah, they owe it to us.
Yeah, right. I don't think Game of Thrones is going anywhere. I think we're gonna have that for a long time. They're gonna keep. I mean, it's a big moneymaker for them, so
yeah,
we should get a lot of stuff from there, which I'm happy about. I like the dragon one, whatever it's called, the newest one. But it's still like it was good. I like it, and I'm gonna continue to watch it. And it's probably still one of my favorite things on TV. But it still just doesn't have the same. I don't know. I feel it doesn't still have that Game of Thrones to it, you know?
Yeah, I'm there with you. I definitely like struggled a little bit with it, but I'm trying to be open to it. Like just
like
try to keep
you watched Game of Thrones, and it was hard to like a character because you just always had this feeling like, man, any episode that character could be gone, you know?
Yeah, man, that was tough. Joe, you need to watch it.
I watched the first episode, not even the full episode, and I turned it off. I just couldn't get into it. But maybe someday when I get time to do it.
That's funny.
There's so many shows that Colin tells me about that I'm just like, I don't have enough time to watch.
The first season is definitely it's slower, but you're learning a lot of the characters, and you know you're just starting off. Once you get through like first few episodes, you're locked in. I mean,
I guess I just want instant gratification, and I didn't get it from that person.
Just wait.
I'm very
impatient.
So that's kind of funny that you said that, Joe, because Missy and I think we watched maybe episode 1 and 2. And this was like, probably, I don't know when it started, but very close to the beginning of it. And we were like, this is so stupid. What the hell is this? And we gave up on it, and we were just like, this is dumb. I'm not watching it. And then probably years later, it started getting so big, and we were like, all right, let's give it another shot. And I remember like rewatching the first episodes and being like, okay, same thing I remember. And then, at some point it's just like, oh my God, I can't stop watching. It's so good. So yeah, we had that same experience, but we were very happy we went back and rewatched it. So
I can't remember anything from it, but a guy on a horse going through the snow, and then I was like, I'm done.
Dude, you're just really missing out because the stuff that you like, Joe, I mean, I'm just like, I'm not lying. You are.
Oh, no doubt. I've heard from multiple people it's a great show. I just I don't know what it was like. I don't know. I didn't give it a chance like you guys did. Maybe I should do it again.
Definitely give it a second shot.
Plus, my wife's not into that kind of stuff, and we try to watch things together. But she doesn't like everything I like, so
that's hard.
We go to our separate room and we watch things, and
Yeah, Missy and I just had that happen with The Handmaid's Tale. I watched the first couple seasons with her, but this last season I was watching with her, and I just wasn't into it anymore, and so we kind of had to like part ways and go to separate rooms. And
I agree with you on that though. Actually, because I was watching it too, but you're right. This last season, it's kind of like what?
Yeah,
it lost its whatever. It was really good though.
Yeah, they had some weird scenes, and like they kept doing this thing where they would zoom in on the main character. I forget her name because I'm bad with that stuff, and she would just be like giving these
all crazy and
but they would zoom in for like 2 minutes, and she would just be staring at the camera, and I can't watch it. And
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
so good, but yeah,
And they were like going like over the top with like her craziness. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get she's probably very traumatized and everything, but it was just weird. Like, I get exactly what you're saying. I feel the same way about this latest season.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we struggle with that too. You know, finding shows that we both like, but yeah, I suffer through it sometimes for her. She does a lot for me, and you know, she worked our whole first year until this fall. She worked a full, probably like 40 to 60-hour week at her regular job, and then still join me on the food truck. So I owe it to her to watch some shows I don't like. So
yeah, there you go. Have you watched the show called You on Netflix? I think I asked you. You have watched it.
Yes, I love that.
Me and my wife love that show. Yeah, I love the narration part. Like, you know, for example, like he'll say, "Oh, I love this guy. He's an asshole." In his head, he's saying he's an asshole or whatever.
Yeah,
and I just love that type of narration on a show. I love it.
It kind of reminds me of Dexter in a way.
It does. Like
you're getting his like narrating.
Yep. Yeah. Dexter was another one we were really into during our college days. Yeah.
I think the new season of You's coming out soon. I have to keep an eye out. Yeah.
It's gonna be a 2-parter, I think. Two-part.
Yeah, that's,
I'm excited for that
another one of our faves. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other shows. Like I forget shows. We're super fans of The Office if we're looking at like comedy or you know, sitcom stuff. We're really big fans of like The Office and you know, goofy stuff like that too. That would be our like background TV show that we have on when we're just doing stuff. And
I have never watched that either.
Oh man,
yeah, I've never gotten into The Office either.
Yeah,
I hear good things about it. I just haven't.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's different, and you gotta. It's another thing you gotta kind of give it a chance and stuff. But it's good.
Like Ozark was my show.
Ooh,
I love
another good one. Yep, love.
See, Ozark. I was upset when that went off, just like I was when The Sopranos went off. I was about equally upset when that went off. I was like, "Damn, man! They didn't even scratch the surface yet. They can keep going with this for another at least."
Oh, they canceled Ozark already?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think the last one was last season.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
I couldn't believe that because that was
a lot of stuff got canceled recently, though.
I love Jason Bateman's work. He does good in everything he does.
They got to make room for all these new superhero movies that just keep coming out.
Yeah. And that's one thing I haven't been able to sell Missy on is superhero stuff.
I can't either.
It's hard. So
I can't even sell some of them myself because there's so many. I just like lost interest. There's so many of everything. It's like, oh my god, I can't keep up. Like I'll never catch up. But
man. Yep. It's,
now Star Wars, I'll watch that until I'm blue in the face, man. I like anything Star Wars. I don't care what it is. I'll watch it. But
there's just so much stuff nowadays, and like it's like, what streaming services do I buy? And it's like it's out of hand.
Yeah, like I ordered HBO Plus just for The Last of Us, and when that's over, I'll probably cancel it. But because I don't know what else on there I would like.
Yeah,
we were never cancel HBO.
Yeah. We were about to cancel it, but now that I know The Last of Us is on there, I might not. So
yeah, it's really good too.
Something always ends up popping up on there, and I mean, really, what has been bad that HBO put out? You know,
that's true. HBO has had continuous good shows on.
I mean, even the ones I don't like, they're still good shows, but
not your cup of tea. Yeah,
just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. There's plenty of them. There's so many good ones on there, man.
Yeah.
From back in the day, like Sopranos and The Wire.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah. I actually studied before I studied to be a teacher in school. I was studying criminal justice, and I watched The Wire during that time, and it was just like a interesting time in my life. I look back on that and stuff, and it's a great show though. And yeah, it's kind of cool driving. Like sometimes I'll be driving through Baltimore thinking about it, but it's a very intense show and sad, but really good. So yeah,
I was going to say a lot of that was shot on location in Baltimore too, I believe, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of it's like West Baltimore. But yeah, I've never ventured too far into that area, but it's that's a really good one too.
Yeah.
And speaking of HBO Sopranos, I've never seen. I'm embarrassed to say it.
Yep.
I've watched it, but I've never watched it like all the way through or anything. It's just real sporadic.
I watched it religiously, and I know. I was so like, I was just broken when that went off the air. I was like, God damn, I can't believe this is going off.
It's on our list for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. It's a shame that it went off, and that last episode where it ended kind of quirky, and they had the Queen music playing, and this is like, oh my God, this is too much.
I really like season 1 and season 3 of True Detective.
Yeah.
I like The Night Of. I wish they would do another season of The Night Of. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
That's the one where they arrest the kid for murder or whatever, and he's saying he didn't do it. I don't. You're like they're trying to figure out what happened that for that night. I don't know. It's really good.
Two shows that
I would do another one.
Yeah, two shows that I'm really gonna miss is Nosferatu. I loved, and the Frankenstein Chronicles. I think they cut those off way too early. Like they canceled those way too early. Have either one of you seen either one of those shows? Or
I've seen the Frankenstein one. I never got into Nosferatu. I just thought it was. I don't know. There was like something weird about it to me. I don't know.
There's a lot weird about it, but I don't know why I just latched onto it though. It was something about it. Just
I think it might have been like the actor and the actress too, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The main girl was at first. She takes a little bit to get used to, for sure.
I think that's what it was.
And the setting of like the town they lived in. I think it was a little quirky, but I did enjoy it. Yeah. How about Cobra Kai? You into that?
Never saw it. No. Yeah, no. I feel like I've seen like advertisement for it, but never got around to it. But
yeah.
We actually have a list that I'll add this stuff to, but it's just hard for us to find time nowadays. You know, we have we'll have like 2 hours a night, maybe at the end of the night after we get done with all our food truck stuff. Missy still does a little bit of contracting work in advertising. So, so after she gets that done, I get all my food truck stuff done and stuff. We have couple hours at most to hang, so we got to be picky. But
so do you prep all your food the day, like the morning of or the night before?
It's more like a couple day thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like we put a lot of time into our food. Our whole thing was just that, like, if we make the food right and treat our customers right, we'll find a way to make it happen. And so, we're usually like seasoning our meats like a couple days in advance, really trying to get like flavor and stuff in there. Our salsa, we pickle our own jalapenos, our hot sauce, all that stuff we kind of make in huge batches in advance. So yeah, we're basically prepping all the time. It's like, a little bit each day. And then after we have events, whatever sells out, we got to re-prep and stuff. So it's a real grind, but I love it. I don't have those days where I used to have those days. Sorry, Rolando. I think one of my old students might be on here, but I used to have those days where I was going into school and I was just like, what am I doing? Like dreading it. And I never have that anymore. So that was my goal, was starting this just to find something that I really like doing. So
yeah,
it's different. It's a different level. Yeah, freedom, a little bit of freedom. Although it's like a different, different thing, kind of, not holding me back, because it's obviously like taking me farther than I was going. But it's just a different vibe, a different life.
Is there a lot of food truck competition like in your area?
Yeah, for sure.
I know here, it's big here. There's food trucks everywhere.
Yeah. Joe and I are chatting about. We went to a new brewery. We finally got into a new one this past weekend. but I had been trying to get in for a year. I was just like reaching out to them. Hey, you have any openings? Hey, we're still here. Don't forget about us. And we finally got in. But yeah, there's a lot of competition, and yeah, it's hard, but there's also a lot of opportunity. We have so many people reach out to us, and yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity and so much competition, though. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. My job has food trucks coming at lunchtime, like most days.
Yeah.
And I remember asking you, are you ever going to get your license to come up this way? We're about 2 counties up from where you are primarily at.
Yeah.
Any news on that or?
Ooh, not yet, man,
No,
but
no.
we'll make it happen. Yeah, and we started doing a couple like lunch shifts. Oh my gosh, one of my neighbors just popped on. Hey, Shelby. Yeah, so we started doing some lunch shifts, and we really like those because we miss having like nighttime normal lives. So we're really digging lunch stuff right now, and yeah, we want to get more into that as well. So yeah, we'll find a way to make that happen for sure.
I think you'd make a killing there because a lot of people, every food truck that comes, people just swarm to them.
Yeah.
And once they grab a hold of yours, they're not going to let go of that stuff. It's going to be unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of also a lot of like breweries around this way, Colin. I don't know if you have a lot of those around your area.
Oh, Milwaukee! Oh my God!
Yeah, it's well, I guess
all
that's true.
Milwaukee is
Yeah,
breweries.
I guess that's true. Yeah, but like we have a lot of farm type breweries, like Hopkins. I don't think you've been there yet either, have you? Like Hopkins Farm.
No, not yet, but we are going there in a couple months. That's another one that was like very hard to get into.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure. I like that place. It's a lot. They have a lot of land and a lot of you could just bring your chair, sit out, listen to the music, and have a burrito and some nachos. It's a good day.
Heck
probably do good at like all like the comic conventions and stuff too. Hey, I mean,
oh my God, yeah,
you'd probably make a killing at those.
Yeah, we are definitely, we're open to stuff like that. It's just, it's just kind of hard. It's hard to like find the people to get in to those events. Like sometimes they have set vendors they like to use or whatever. But yeah, if we ever get the opportunity, we'll be there for sure.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much like competition, like you have to plan with the brewery to be there and all that. And I guess you just can't roll up and say, here I am, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize there's so much into it and like so much weight and all that. Yeah.
And like, I mean, people know that certain breweries are like, they're just going to make more money and they're going to be busier. And so, they just try to stick with those places. And, if they're doing a good job, most breweries aren't going to kick them out or whatever. So they kind of get in there, and I basically have been reaching out to places like that and just be like, we'll take any shift we can get. If it's a Monday night and no one shows up, it's okay. Like, we just want to show you guys our food, and we want you to give us a chance. So so it's working out, but it's a grind. For sure.
That would be a good way to get in, because even if you take a shitty night of the week and you get in there, people are going to talk about how good your food truck was, and then you're going to be back on a Saturday or Friday or whatever, Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's where the big bucks come in. There is one brewery down that you've been to, I think, a few times that I haven't been to yet that I'm anxious to get to. It's called Ministry of Brewing.
Yeah.
It was like an old church converted into a brewery. That seems pretty odd, but cool at the same time.
Yeah.
Have you been inside? I guess you have been inside there and tried their stuff. How do you think of that place?
Yeah, we love Ministry. It's the hardest place for us to get our trailer in, because you basically have to pull into a parking lot and maneuver, a huge trailer around all these cars and into a little spot. But
that's gotta be tough. Yeah.
It's just such a cool place. It's a huge church that was just abandoned or wasn't being used, and they just bought it and turned it into this awesome brewery. We were just there for their 3-year anniversary. But that's one of our favorites for sure. other than trying to get in there. But other than
yeah, it sounds like a tight squeeze. But
yeah,
every time you guys are there, I'm looking at like, man, I wish it was in the books to get down there that day. But it looks like a really cool place and just a crazy idea. I mean, to have turned in the church into a brewery, it's pretty cool. I think.
I always wanted to turn an old church into a house. I thought it would be cool. You have the loft and all the wide open space. I mean, at least the churches over here are cool. I mean,
they're
all real old buildings.
Yeah, we were actually
windows.
there was a church for sale in Reisterstown, and it had it was like a church on one side, had a huge parking lot, and on the other side they had a house. And it was for sale, and we were like, we were set. We're like, we're gonna make it the Church of Nachos or whatever, Top Notch Church, you know. But basically, we called them, and they said that the zoning would probably never work out, so we didn't go for it. But we thought that would have been a really cool idea. I feel like there's so much you can do with something like that. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Although it's sacrilegious and might go to hell. But
if you decide you want to park on this street and this street one day, do you have to let the city know, or do you have to have a permit, or how does that work?
So it depends what county you're in. Everyone has different rules, which is so hard. Like, it's so hard to learn about that and figure it out. And sometimes calling government people, they don't care much, and they're just like, they give you these answers that are not clear or maybe not right. So I can't speak to every county, but I know specifically Baltimore County, as long as we have our permit, and we're up to code and everything, we can technically pretty much go anywhere as long as it's not posted.
Yeah.
But what they told us is, like, if somebody asks you to leave, or the cops come and ask you to leave, like, you got to go. There's nothing you can really do about it. So, and I know there were some things in Baltimore City. There's some things before we moved here, like some sort of rule about you have to be 300 yards away from a restaurant, because obviously restaurants were getting pissed because food trucks were pulling up and taking their business, and people went with the cheaper, faster option and stuff. So
hey, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely, I feel like that's a evolving thing, and we'll see how that goes. But I have never so far been. We had one lady in the neighborhood, like, basically ask us to leave, but we were already done. But she was like, "It's 7:30 and your trailer's making noise." I was like, "Sorry."
Oh, geez, come on.
But yeah, we've had really good luck. Haven't really had people complain too much, or haven't had to deal with any cops or anything, and try to stay up to try to keep everything up to date with our licenses and stuff.
So no crazy stories being out on the streets every day?
I mean, not yet. I'm sure they're gonna happen. The craziest thing that has happened to us has just been tire problems. Like, I can't believe how many flat tires, nails in tires, things like that. We've had, but honestly, otherwise, we've had really good luck, and had some bad events where, we lost a lot of money, but nothing super bad other than that. It's been good.
Good. You have to go through the same inspection type stuff that a brick and mortar restaurant would go through, or maybe just on a smaller scale, I guess. Obviously,
yeah, it's pretty similar. The inspection process is pretty crazy in some places. Baltimore County wasn't too bad, but when we moved into Hartford, we had to spend probably $3,000 upgrading our fire system, which was brand new, but it just didn't have everything that Hartford requires you to have. So that was like a really hard lesson that we've learned in general, just like how much money you have to spend and how different places require you to have different things. So
yeah, and that's kind of crazy because Baltimore and Hartford County are right there, So
yeah, right next to each other.
Yeah,
totally different rules. So
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just been a wild experience. I mean, the amount of work. We knew it'd be difficult, but I just can't put into words the amount of work that it requires to keep it going. So, but yeah, we feel super happy that we did it and lucky that we have such a good following already.
No regrets.
Heck yeah. Although there's a couple times on a Saturday night where I'm like, man, I would love to be the other person sitting in the brewery versus serving, but yeah, it's all worth it.
Yeah, I always wonder about that, even with like bartenders, and we're sitting there having a good time watching the game or whatever, and then I'm like, I wonder if they wish they were. And actually, there's a brewery that I was talking about earlier in Kennett Square. I actually brew with them from time to time. They let me go in there as like a guest brewer, and I try to learn the process and all.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I go in there on a Saturday and I'm working, I go in around 8, work with the guys, make the beer, and then I look out around noon and customers are coming in, and I'm like, and that could be me out there. Like it's kind of depressing at some point. So.
Yeah.
So I got what you're saying there.
Yep. Yeah. It's hard. It's been hard just to kind of learn how to live life. You know, I was so used to having a weekend every weekend, you know, as free-ish. But now it's just, it's different. Like I'm sitting here on a Tuesday night drinking a beer because it's kind of my weekend. Like I don't have an event. So yeah, it was quite the life change for sure.
Yeah. So do you try to give yourself a day off every week, or do you work straight through?
Yeah, I try. I mean, there's at this point, you know, we plan eventually to have a bigger staff and stuff. But at this point, I'm doing most stuff by myself. You know, I have one employee that will help me like clean the trailer, because just cleaning the trailer by itself is a full-time job. So one of our employees has been pretty awesome about that. Like she came over today and helped me clean the trailer while I was taking care of some other stuff. But yeah, it's hard to find a true day off. And we haven't had many, but it also doesn't feel quite like work. Like I'm not going into a building and
you're enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different in that way. I'm not mad to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
so you said
you're doing it for your, you know, you're not doing it for somebody else.
You're your own boss. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
So you said Missy was like in advertising. Who came up with like that, the truck, like the wrap for the truck and all that? Cause it's pretty cool looking. It really stands out.
Yeah. So we met this guy when we were in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where the idea for Top Nach was born. Like I told you, we were at that bar eating those horrible nachos, and that's where we really had the idea. And they had a really cool burger place called Bravas Burgers, and their artwork was just awesome. And I asked them, like, you know, hey, where'd you get this done? And somehow I got hooked up with the guy. His Instagram name is Good Stuff Design Co. But yeah, he is just amazing. Like I told him what we were looking for, and you know, like I told him like the vibe we're looking for, and he just made it happen. He did our shirts, all of our logos. He did the wrap for our trailer. Pretty much all of our branding stuff. And then Missy, she's a copywriter, which is not like copywriting, like, hey, don't steal my stuff. It's like she's writing the words on ads and stuff. So she wrote all the stuff like on the back of our truck. It has a cool little saying and stuff that she kind of came up with. So yeah, it was a mixture of those two, and I had absolutely nothing to do with it, other than telling him what vibe I wanted. And yeah, he executed it. I've been trying to hype him up, like try to get people to go to him because he's that good. And we've had so many people just reach out and be like, hey, do you want to come? We saw your trailer on the highway and it looks so cool. Do you want to come to this event? So it's,
that's awesome.
It's paid off. Yeah. We paid a decent amount to have it done, but you know, it's so worth it.
It definitely sticks out because, you know, you go to some places, you've seen some food trucks, they're like run down and beat up, and sometimes you're scared to eat off them, but usually the food's pretty good still. You keep yours super clean all the time. Never seen a speck of dirt on the damn thing.
We try.
yeah. It's definitely
it's hard.
Definitely sticks out in the crowd, though. I mean, I definitely say that for sure.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
For sure.
Mount a couple of cameras and start a YouTube channel. There you go.
Yeah. I've been there's so much more that I want to do, like social media wise and whatnot. Like I one thing I do miss about teaching was I did like, kind of like teaching people how to cook and like showing them little tips, and I did one or two videos, I think, since we started the business, like showing how we make stuff, but I want to get more into that. But I just need to find the time, which is what we're working on now. And with Missy joining me more, it's gonna hopefully get better, and our social media game will get a little better because it's lacking and it's my fault.
Yeah, you're just really busy. I mean, and that's a good thing. That's a good
for sure. But
and with the spring and summer coming up, I'm sure it's just going to get better and better. And I can't wait till I run into your truck again. Believe me. So as I said multiple times, but it's that good, guys. It's really that good. So
I appreciate it. And like I said, we really just we really try to make our food special and different, and that's our whole thing. And so we're hoping it keeps working out, and we'll see how it goes. See how it goes.
Definitely.
Well, you seem like you're on a good path, so
keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing.
Sure.
We're creeping up on an hour. That's about our time we usually keep people. We've promoted the shit out of your truck, but let's do it some more before we go. So just tell everybody who you are, what you want to do, and
I realized that I didn't give a good explanation for people. So our food truck is called Top Nach, spelled NACH, like a nacho. So our whole thing was we wanted to give nachos the respect that we think they deserve. We feel like it's such a throwaway item on a menu. Like every restaurant throws it on their menu because they know they can just throw some chips in a basket, put a little fake cheese on it, and some jalapenos from a jar, and sell it to you for $12, and that's that. But we wanted to just step that up, so that's what we did. And so our nachos, for those who haven't had our nachos before, we lay them out on a flat layer. It's almost like you're getting like a pizza nacho. So each chip has its toppings on it. It should be perfectly topped, assuming we execute it as we hope. We make all of our ingredients fresh. And then, as we were talking about earlier as well, Joe's favorite, the burritos, are also kind of special because we add a cheese crust to them, which basically means we put a layer of cheese on our flat top, crisp it up, and then roll your burrito in it. So like I like to say, it's super, super healthy, but really, really indulgent food and delicious. And if you're in the area, we'd love it if you checked us out. We have a website, www.topnotchbemore.com. Our Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff is the same, Top Nach Be More. But we would love it if you came and checked us out. And we're just kind of pushing along here and seeing where this journey takes us.
Damn right.
I'll put all your information down in the description too. So
Sweet. Yeah.
One last question.
Yes.
Eagles or Chiefs?
Man, I mean,
don't make me throw you off here now. You got to pick the right one. Come on.
So
we've come too far, brother.
This is loaded. Oh, thank you, T3 Collects, by the way. Yes, they do not. Nachos don't get the respect they deserve. Thank you very much. We're trying. But yeah, so my family is all Eagles fans, except for me. But I'm still rooting for the Eagles because, as some people know, Maryland legalized sports gambling, and I put $5 on the Eagles to win, so I win $30 if they win. So let's go Eagles!
Let's get this man $30.
Yeah, right.
He can buy me a burrito.
Buy you a burrito?
But I probably shouldn't even admit who I'm a fan of. I'm a Patriots fan, though. I can't.
Well,
I know, but I at least, I had a Drew Bledsoe jersey. I have family that lived up that way. And they got me a Drew Bledsoe jersey when I was a kid. And I'm proud that I stuck with them, even though everyone else in my family was,
I can respect that more because you were before Tom
Yeah.
Brady. So that's okay. Yeah.
And I just got super lucky with, Brady and whatnot.
Yeah. At least you didn't say Cowboys because that.
Hell no, man.
Yeah, right.
I don't
hear anybody say Cowboys anymore.
Yeah. So I am. I'm definitely looking for an Eagles win there, and I like Mahomes. But I feel like by the time he retires, he's gonna have like 10 Super Bowls. So I would prefer to win $30 and have the Eagles win. So
he is good. I'm a little shook because of him, but I think we'll do it. I'm hoping we do it. But.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're an Eagles fan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, nice.
Always have been. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I'll be rooting for you.
And I'm rooting for you with that truck. Keep it going. If you don't mind staying on backstage just for a minute, and then we'll let you go after that. Just hang tight for a second.
Absolutely.
But we want to thank everybody that came into the chat. If you're ever in this area, please check them out. topnotchbemore.com is the website. And for now, that's what effing figures. And we'll see you this Thursday with our next guest, OG Geek. So we'll see you Thursday. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Shane. And go check this guy out if you're in the area. Love that place. So go check it out.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys having us.
Yes, sir.
See you guys all later.
See ya.